like AutoCAD, InTools, or ePlan, uh, are they available on cloud?
Yeah. Let me start with that. I think we have several companies next door, who you should have this discussion. But some of these companies are moving their tools to the cloud. I think you will find that, we have Bentley there. We know, they have AssetWise and ProjectWise products there in the cloud, L&T, obviously we have Rolta. I think you should have this discussion with these companies. And if they don't have a cloud today, I think they will be coming up with the cloud offerings very soon.
Yeah, in fact, I have two questions. One is that maybe in fact, summary of the discussion is that anything about DCS control system can get accommodated into cloud, like MES and SAP and this thing. That's what I realized after these two. So after moving everything to cloud, the major risk I see that whether the service providers can become monopolistic. That will be the big risk can see. And second thing, after moving into this thing, whether the licensing norms will change. Because now license being provided to, that could be even a huge loss to the license providers or this thing. Or I don't know whether it is a loss or these terms and condition, how it will get changed. So I really don't know.
Actually, coming to the licensing policy, I asked this question to Microsoft 2 years back. Are you not going to lose money if you don't sell your products and put everything on cloud? And Microsoft gave an answer, if you don't put on the cloud, we'll lose complete business. So because the trend has changed, you should accept that reality, that nobody wants to buy expensive software. And it's not necessary to buy also. Because even SAP, which was costing 2 crores earlier, and Oracle costed 2 crores per piece, have all put on the cloud. So everyone will put, as in the previous question, sooner or later, it's only a question of time. Everyone will migrate to the cloud and therefore use it. For your other question, if you have concerns of that kind, then you can go for a private cloud. Of course, as of now, all companies are not offering that solution. Like Microsoft, Azure is not available in India on the private cloud as yet, but they're promising it to be there in a few months. But in other countries, it's already there. So it is possible, if you are a large company having a large data center already, then you don't trust an outsider like Amazon or Microsoft. Then you can support a private cloud like we are doing in the government. Government, banking and large corporations would not like to go for a public cloud.
Hello. Yes, I have a question. Andy, first of all, thanks for having us, and good to be here. Raja Banerjee from TCS. A question for Mr. Srivastav from his earlier talk. I think you alluded to the fact about innovation. I think that word came up once or twice in your talk. We use the terminology co-founding or co-pioneering across the oceans. What are your thoughts in terms of what NTPC, and maybe it's a question even for the gentleman from BHEL, what are the manifestations or drivers of innovations in your organizations? Point one. Point two, or question two is, what is the government's take on innovation? How open-minded are they? I mean, it's a cannibalized term. We talk about it all the time, but is that really happening within NTPC? And or what is the government take on this whole innovation space?
I didn't get your question. You said you're talking about innovations.
That's right.
So see, for innovations, we are, of course, not much is being done on innovations. Being a government company, we always also look for provenness. So we always ask some criteria that whatever you are offering, that should be established somewhere, it should be in operation for a certain time. And how much are we ready to take the risk? That is a question mark for NTPC also. And we are not, generally we are not very innovative. We are not the first guinea pig who are trying the first thing for the first time in our organization. But nevertheless, for such a certain R&D project also, if I would like to share with our government system, for any new project that we do, if it is a proven technology, we take about 3% contingency. That's the amount we consider it. For innovation project, we take about 6% contingency. If it is being R&D project, we take about 10% contingency in our system. That's the extra cost that is the extra risk we are ready to take in the amount that we are taking for innovation. So obviously innovation is not in the scale that we are talking about, that we are trying to develop something for the first time. Limited R&D and limited risk being taken up. But if you are taking 10% extra money, then obviously we are not willing to take innovation a big risk. That's a problem. Maybe Mr. Ganpati Raman can also supplement on the issue.
Mr. Srivastava has been quite modest on NTPC not being innovative. Let me make a slight differentiation. If there is anybody in the country who has spearheaded modernization and introduction of adapting new technologies into the practices, it's led by NTPC. So let me make a slight difference between adapting technologies concurrently or even doing innovations, introducing the best practices. So because it's very important for all of us to understand, when we talk, we should become current in every field in India. Let's talk, Andy spoke quite a lot about mobile. Mobile, each one of us want to be current. We want to have the best phones. We want to have the best email provider. We want to have the internet. As he has put it very nicely, it's being done by somebody else. So we are paying 1,000 rupees, maybe a monthly fee. We get lots of features which we can use. That's as far as the mobile computing, mobile facilities are concerned. Coming to power plants, let me speak both on power plants as well as process industries. Coming to power plants, the most important thing for a power plant today is to provide electricity very secure. So the specifications of NTPC ensures that the technologies provided by the automation solutions, as well as in almost most of the NTPC power plants, you have ERP also getting integrated, almost getting integrated also with asset management. If you happen to see, any one of you happen to see NTPC power plant, they are I can't say they are inferior to any of the power plants, because as I have traveled a lot of USA-based power plants, German power plants, I can tell you very proudly, some of the initiatives done by NTPC are the most modern power plants in the country, are the best in terms of whether it is European power plant or US power plant. So that's as far as the adapting the best practices, putting them into space, putting into practice. And if you visit some of the NTPC power plants, even some of the other utility power plants, in terms of number of operators, what used to be there in a power plant 10, 15 years back, look at the number of operators presently there, they are quite less. Yes, NTPC or BHL may not be innovative companies. BHL is a manufacturer. NTPC is a system provider and the power generation equipment. So the focus is to provide reliable sources of power in using the best established technologies. I thought I should supplement Srivastava with this, my comments.
Excuse me, I got two questions. One is related with the migration. Yes, what we learned is that migration is inevitable. Migration is inevitable, but when migration is inevitable, the product life cycle policy becomes crucial. And in this case, some vendors are open and some vendors are reserved. When the vendors are open, it is always for a customer, it is good for he will decide his roadmap for the upgradation. But in case of where the vendors are not open, it becomes a surprise to the customer. So in this case, I want to know the view of the panel, whether we should make this product life cycle policy to make all the vendors to mandatory to declare their product life cycle policy. That is one question regarding the migration. And second question regarding the cloud computing. that security, now the systems and technologies are advancing, cloud computation will be more secure. But only I got a question because bigger enterprises are having a question in their mind as far as the sales data is concerned, the integrity of the data. I want to know the panel's view.
I think I'll answer the first point. Okay, I take liberty from the speakers to speak on the first point. See, we talk about migration solutions and obsolescence. Okay. See, look at technology, what it was available 30 years back. We had solid-state systems introduced in the country. I think possibly Siemens technology was the first to introduce. And let me tell you, where there is no HMI systems, those systems still run. Shall I repeat? Hardware supplied through Siemens collaborations or Siemens technologies with solid state, and not only Siemens, even other system supplies automation still run because there is no data acquisition system, there is no HMI, power plants still run, and the hardware is being supported. Okay? That means a hardware supplied 30 years back is still being supported for run. But then things changed because in those days you had large number of operators running and maintaining the plant. There is a huge pressure to cut down the operators with the use of technology. So technologies provided, started with data acquisition system, that was not adequate. Then people felt the way we use the laptops and personal computers, let's use keyboard-based operations for the control. So technology migrated from a simple solid-state system 30 years back to human HMI-based control systems. But remember, all the semiconductor hardware vendors are putting a lot of investment on control processors. The processor development, the microprocessor chips taking place at a phenomenal pace. 30 years back, solid-state system, the developments were limited. Today, if you have an HMI system, you can't get the replacement maybe after 4 years. Earlier it was possibly available for 10 years. So that's one portion. So the obsolescence is a part of life. There is no option other than people doing obsolescence, migrations on a continuous basis. That cannot be stopped because more and more features operators and customers, the end users want to have. Because if you take a 500 megawatt plant, the number of database available for an operator runs more than 35,000 points. He needs to take decisions what he wants to understand. So the database has increased a lot. Okay, coming to the openness. Again, going back to the history, earlier days, 30 years back, we had hardwired interfaces for connectivity. The microprocessor came, then we had gateways through limited RS-232 or RS-422. Now we have OPC, which provides connectivity of the main plant to the offsites. Okay, so that's the extent to the extent the vendors can provide openness in terms of connectivity. Whether you take Foundation Fieldbus or Profinet, I'm sure there are some more presentations in the next 2 days. Every vendor has his own reservations on making it totally open. It's just not possible. Because the control software which runs as was presented under a private cloud needs to run securely. You just can't make everything open and make it available to anybody and put the damage to the plant. So this is what I thought I should tell as the control system is concerned. The other one, I'll pass it on.
Yes, you have raised a question regarding vendor openness. Yes, it's a question of demand and supply. I can share with you in case of gas turbines, which we have imported from many all over the world. If you want to do any migration of the software, migration of hardware system, control system, it is next to impossible to source it from any other source other than from the OEM. We tried to do it many times. They often threatened us that they will not send guarantee for the machine. They will not send for the security of the machine. And it is a question of give and take, whether how much we are ready to take flex the muscle and how much they are ready to flex the muscle and how much risk we are willing to take it. In many situations we are able to overcome, but especially in case of gas turbines, of course, we are dependent heavily on as far as migration is concerned, as far as upgradation is concerned, even running of the system is concerned, we're dependent on the vendors. So there are some areas where we could not really help it. We have a good example of Ratnagiri, which the entire country knows very well, how much we have suffered and how much money we spent to restart the plant and to upgrade the plant. And there are many other stations where we are really suffering and we need to upgrade, we are not able to do it. there is a lot of issues involved in upgradation, and not only the money, it's not penny wise for an organization which is making huge profit. It doesn't make any sense to talk about 20 crores, 50 crores. Issue is their migration strategy itself is not acceptable to us, but we are helpless in certain cases. Just to supplement the point.
I think I'll add one more last point. See, one more thing is the controlling cost. Look at the packaging. You can do a project totally EPC. You can call somebody, give them a full package, boiler, turbine, civil works, balance of plants, everything. Then of course, how do you control the cost? The second is when you split the packages, boiler package, turbine package, balance of plant package, civil packages, you are able to control the cost. That's one. Second, but that gives in a problem of multiple technologies coming into the picture. If you look at supercritical projects coming in the country today, you've got to have control systems for turbine separate, control system for boiler separate, control systems for C&I separate, control system for BOP separate. So you're going to have multiple hardwares, multiple software. The only way this can be integrated for an operator is only through gateways of OPC and having the information available.
Let me add one other thing here. I think there have been excellent comments about automation and controls. But today, I think if you really look at where your opportunity is to improve the performance of your plants, it's not in controls. We've been doing a terrific job, actually, with automation and controls. But there is an opportunity, tremendous opportunity at these higher level applications. That's where most of the performance enhancement will come from. Asset management systems. Instead of perhaps, fixing the problems once something fails, you need to start predicting when the problem is going to happen and fixing it before it happens. Same thing with optimization software. Same there, you will find that once you start looking at your historical data, looking at how, in most cases, the plant performance starts to go down, over time. But you want to look at how you can enhance plant performance. So in my view, yes, you want to adopt best practices at the automation level, but I tell you, most of the plants around the world right now, they are doing a lot more than that. I think you got to start focusing on what more you could do to improve the performance of your plants.
Just to, before we conclude and handing over the question on the cloud computing, let me tell you, tomorrow we have planned about 18 speakers speaking at variety of topics, and after tomorrow 12 speakers, 3 common sessions and 2 track sessions, 9 sessions. Almost all the topics mentioned by Andy, like asset performance, optimization. We have excellent quality speakers who have agreed to come and make the presentations here. So please be a part of the team tomorrow and after tomorrow. Maybe you will get a lot more answers in a couple of days. I'll just now pass it on for the cloud computing. That has been answered.
No, regarding security in the cloud, as Andy said, DCS and things like that cannot be put on the cloud, but any other thing can be put on the cloud. And if the security is a top consideration, then it could be put on the private cloud so that you have your own control over it, or even confidentiality. But when the less seriousness of confidentiality and security is there, you can go for the public cloud also. Like US government, all the payrolls have been shifted to the public cloud. They don't care about the confidentiality or security of that. But they do care a lot about finance transactions and so on. So they don't put on the public cloud. So it is a choice you have to make, and the security on the public cloud is the responsibility of the cloud service provider. And they take a lot of good measures of security, and there's a big subject of cloud security, and they also offer SLAs and guarantees and so on. As long as that data is not very critical to the organization, it can be managed on a public cloud in a different premises. And the policy regulations are also to be considered. Every government has its own regulations, every company has its own policy regulations. Accordingly, like audit regulations, they expect certain data to be reproduced at certain times. So some of the audit requirements require the data to be maintained in own premises. So private cloud technology can be used for those cases.
If there are no more questions, I think some more.
I'm from Rockwell Automation. A couple of questions for the panel here. One on aging and obsolescence that we have been talking deeply about. First question goes like this. What is the change in specifications that various end users are trying to seek in terms of services that they ask from the vendors? So do they think that this is going to make a significance in sustaining the problems or kind of keeping it away a little bit more in terms of aging control systems? This is question one. And another one is probably for Randy, when I heard him saying that automation companies are behind the curve as far as cloud computing is concerned. To me personally, I am yet to understand what deeply would it mean. As automation vendors have started talking about control, information, communication, all being on one common platform. So there is already an, solutions available for connecting your plant level information up to entire, enterprise level. So if that enterprise software resides in cloud, what is the difference, what is the different approach that an automation vendor needs to take? So not sure if two questions are absolutely different, but.
You see, as for our from user perspective, our wish list is endless. So, but we have to see the market, and we have to see what are the market forces and the technology available as on date, and to what extent it is fair for all the players in the field. We have to provide level playing field. Obviously, we cannot say that somebody who wants to deal with us, he has to give the guarantee for so many things for 10 years and blah, 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 and all sorts of endless demand cannot be put. So we have to be reasonable and fair to all the industry players. So our requirement keeps on changing. Earlier we were asking AMC for 3 years and asking the people to post a ban at site and other things, and then asking warranties and also putting a condition that before you go for declare the item obsolete, you have to give us notice for 2 years in advance, and we may buy the spares. But these things are eventually they did not work really in the real sense, and these are not enforceable. Any such understanding is not backed by the commercial clause. Doesn't make any sense. So now we are not asking for AMCs. Now we are also not asking the guarantees to that extent. Also, technologies have changed. A lot of people are offering a free of cost help 24/7 through websites and other things. So these are quite changing, and also the cost of automation has also going down drastically. Maybe about 10 years back, whatever things we are buying at a price X, today we are buying it at 0.5x or maybe 0.4x. It doesn't make any sense asking for all those things. So it is changing with the time. I really cannot say what should be our requirement for the future. But now the PLC technology is being, an automation technology is so easy and so cheap, it doesn't make any sense to ask for the AMC, ask for some guarantees, ask for the key. And people are available in the market also. There are a lot of third parties who are able to take them and maintain the system, or they are supplied by others. So keeping all these in factors, I will not say that we are looking for too much of AMCs and warranties. Warranties also, it's highly subjective and very difficult to interpretation with very complicated affair. So I cannot say what should be the guarantees we are asking, but by and large it is changing. We really are not really looking for so many things as we were looking for 5 years back. Yes. And also reliability is also very high. And in many cases, when the equipment is coming in from China and other things, obviously such thing doesn't make any sense for us.
Yeah. Regarding the question about automation companies, I think we saw Mr. Prabhu's list of the cloud service providers, and there are many companies out there. They have been providing cloud services for a decade or longer. So or many years, and so forth. And most automation companies are right now, they are just starting to offer some of their applications. In fact, actually, these companies, they have to, in fact, change some of their applications to work best in the cloud. You just can't take an application from the plant and simply move it to the cloud. Applications have to be changed for them to work effectively. In fact, take a look at the DCS. DCS will change as these companies start to separate the critical control functions that have to stay in the plant and from the applications that sit on top of the control system, controls. Some right now, typically DCS, everything is kind of bundled. Asset management application, optimization applications, they're all kind of part of the DCS. So in our view, I think over the coming years, you will start to see that automation companies, they will start to move more and more applications to the cloud, whatever makes sense. And that, in fact, will change how you manage the control systems. But in my view, we've been hearing the issues we heard this morning about maintaining systems and upgrading these systems. In my view, hopefully, as these companies move some of these applications to the cloud, as they start to take responsibility for these applications, and you are simply paying them for what you are using and so forth, the hope here is, in my view, that's critical for you to simplify your automation systems. So we expect actually a lot of changes in how we control, automate our plants, how we manage our plants over the next few years.
I'll supplement what Andy said. There is a presentation tomorrow by STIAG. STIAG and BHL and NTPC have done a lot of projects on optimization, which has been taken out of the control system and being remotely monitored. NTPC can monitor it in their workplace. STIAG can monitor that in Germany. BHL can monitor in its workplace. So already some projects are on, and that is going to be on the increase. So you will have the presentation tomorrow by STIAG. I'm sure some more are there, but since I know STIAG very well, I thought I should tell you that segregation of automation systems and the optimization, remote monitoring, all that are being planned tomorrow.
Since a lot of talk has been done on cloud computing, I just want to add, see, one movement has happened in engineering, actually. See, today, nowadays, I think most of the automation vendors, their engineering is virtual engineering. I don't think most of the engineering desktops, design desktops have any application running. The applications are running in the servers. And if you see in some of the vendors where they have multiple locations, multiple countries, multiple areas, where there is one server which is residing, maybe nobody knows who is working. It may be in Singapore or in India or in Malaysia, wherein it has been maintained by a provider who may be HP or IBM or whomsoever it is. And all migrations of softwares, everything, data backup, everything happens with a complete disaster management in some other country which is not having same terrain, same climatic issues, and same systemic conditions. So the movement has started. And in control system, we have seen the evolution. It was very difficult for an operator to move from a desk to a HMI screen. We have struggled. We have struggled for years. We have given data acquisition systems and simple controls in the beginning. So it took a decade to move operator from desk to operator stations of today, the modern trend. So maybe the virtualization will bring up the cloud also. Of course, with a full caution on protection locally. Even the field bus systems, even today, the local controls remains in the local. The only asset management and other things only moves up. So maybe cloud also will come at the enterprise level, maybe to begin with. So this is the thing. Just I wanted to add to a lot of things which we have talked about.
Some more? Please.
See, there are various ways of looking at it. If you look at really on a web-based system, it is not cloud, because your web-based application is only an operator screen where you see a data. There is no running happening. There is no application running. The data is residing in a server which is seen by various